When I was in the NBA, I was coaching Kevin Seraphin, and I should point out that I was with him all the time. I lived with him 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We shared the same house, and I had to manage various performance metrics for him. After this experience, which was quite amazing for me, I asked myself some vital questions, such as, does a coach really need to be with the athletes all the time? And I wondered how I could train athletes when they were in different places, but still with performance in mind. My coaching has evolved a lot. And in any case, I've always tried to ask myself questions about what coaching will be like in the future. We must be able to get the athlete invested. They really need to take ownership of their training. They have to be trained to become their own coach. Because when they're on a basketball court, they're the ones who, most of the time, will make split-second decisions. I'm someone who's there to help them, to guide them while optimizing performance. Because that's the key. Late 2017, early 2018, I found out about Klaxoon. And in fact, as soon as it was in front of me, I immediately had thousands of ideas in my head. I thought to myself, this is it, this is what I need, and this is what I've been looking for. Because with this tool, I'll actually be able to express myself, express my vision of things, and how I imagine coaching and management, how it should be, how it should progress, and how we can move things forward with all the experience I accumulated. Using this tool, it was the answer to everything. Now we're in 2022, I've been using Klaxoon for 5 years now, and of course I made progress. Everything is much simpler in my management, and I still have this feeling of freedom. I've created a network with every player. Imagine it's like a huge book that we're opening together, and then inside this network, we'll add chapters, we'll use several pages, and then we'll make progress, we'll move forward, and everything will keep evolving. Initially, we'll start with just one page maybe, and then after 1, 2, 3 years, we'll see that this book has grown bigger. And in this network, the thing I use the most is board. In fact, this is for us our basketball court, and every day we'll be meeting on this court. Actually, when you open this board, as a general rule, there's always going to be a huge calendar for the athlete's season with all the games, all the trips, and for me that means I can add training sessions using Memo. On every sheet, I can put today's date, and so that the player knows where they are, and I can add my training session. Sometimes not everyone will understand the way I speak. An exercise can have hundreds of different names. So in fact, what I really like about Memo is that I can put video links underneath that explain each exercise. It actually makes it really easy to understand the session. And the little thing I love about Memo is that at the bottom of the Memo app, there's a tiny pen. And when you click on it, actually, you get some kind of note where the player can write down what they're doing in their sessions just like that. So if they come back the following week or in 2 weeks and they have the same exercise, they can see what weights they used 2 weeks ago and they won't waste any time. Their performance won't be declining and they'll keep using either the same loads or even increase them.
Going to milk their 24-second shot clock as Boubois. Oh, what a delightful take to the bucket.
I use questions a lot with my players because it makes it easy for us to communicate anywhere, anytime, and then you can get answers very quickly. Often questions can arrive 2 or 3 hours later or when they're at home resting. It's well known that these days an athlete has a very busy schedule. And on top of that, I have to have my own space too. And for me, there's no way I'm adding an extra burden on their shoulders. This is why I want things to be fast and simple, and for them to be able to do it whenever and wherever they want. This is really important because often what we forget is that, as well as being athletes, they're human beings who have their personal lives. So for me, it's very important to have this work-life balance. And athletes really appreciate it when we can work while respecting their life with their family, with their spouse, with their children. They really value that. Benefits are enormous because already without Klaxoon, I couldn't do that what I'm doing now. Before I knew about Klaxoon, I was a private coach for one player and we were in the same place all the time. Now I'm a private coach managing several players, more than 25 professional players all over the world, and I can work like this in hybrid mode because there's in-person and remote time, and in fact this slashes costs. It makes them invested, and so they feel much more responsible, they're much more curious, and the more you give them the means to express themselves, the more you give them the means to be hungry, and the more they will run with it. And then they really start taking an interest. They get really curious about everything, they ask me lots of questions, they want to know how it works, because I've given them the means to express themselves. And what's more, in return, I give them the answers, the solutions, and we can work together. All this improves performance. Because for me, coaching and management is my life. It's my passion and it's my life. And I think one of the worst things about this job is not being able to speak freely. And with Klaxoon, I can be free. It's a really great feeling because I can express myself in lots of very simple and very intuitive ways. I can really bring ideas to the table. I can do visual management too. I can explain things very easily despite being so far away from the athletes. Really, I have this feeling of being completely free to do what I do and completely free to do what I want to do.